Hello. In this video, we will learn how to uh, make an environment in Azure, like web app can access SQL Server that is running on virtual machine, um, and the SQL Server is not going to be accessed. Our requirement is described here. You can see there is a virtual machine, and inside that SQL Server is running, and there is a virtual network is associated with it. And what we want, there is an application that is hosted here, so it can access the SQL Server privately, like if somebody wants directly from this access, so it shouldn't be. So we will make a similar scenario. Okay, so firstly, let me show you my VM. So I'm just going to connect. Uh, so I have installed SQL Server here. I have a blog on it, like setting up SQL Server so that it can be accessed from anywhere, like public access. So you may want to see that blog. I will put the link of it in the description. So let's connect it and see. So by default, there is a DB. Okay, so let's create a web application. Okay, so here is the web application. So in order to create a web application uh, in Azure App Service, uh, we are going to use this command. Let me paste it. So it's first it is going to create app service plan, and the region is East US, uh, and the resource group and the tier B1. So let's create it. Okay, great. It is created. Uh, let's check it. App service plan. So this is the plan that we created. Okay. Next, let's create a app service. The idea is there is a year app service plan, and we suppose there is a 2 GB RAM and 4 cores, and you can add multiple web apps into it. So all the Air app services will share the resources. So it's completed. The first one try was failed because of the it wasn't unique name. So yeah, let's see the app service. Okay, great. Next step is to deploy our application here. So let's go to deployment center. So I have an existing repo. I'm going to go for it. Yes, master branch. Okay, great. So it's saying we haven't configured runtime. So let's configure the runtime. Okay, it's a .NET stack, and my application is using .NET 8. Okay, platform. Okay, cool. Let's try to again attach our source code, my portfolio, master branch. Okay, as you can see, it's going to build the application and publishing on the Azure App Service. Let's get it completed. Okay, it's completed. Let's check it. So this is our application. Uh, let's access the data from the SQL Server publicly. So I'm going to VM and going to networking setting. Here, network security group is attached, and uh, these are the rules. So I'm going to allow the port for SQL Server. Okay, I want publicly. I want service MS SQL. So it's using for 1433 port. Okay, allow. Let's allow it. Okay, let's check the data. I have added endpoint that uh, gets the data. So here is the endpoint. The connection string is the DNS of the VM and the database. So it is necessary to have SQL Server authentication. You can use public IP address here as well. But if we delete this rule, we are not going to access it. Let me just restart the application. Okay, it's restarted. Let's try. Okay, I have restarted the application. It would take a time. Actually, the tier that I have added for web app service is the basic, so that's a kind of slow. Okay, let's try again. Same URL. Do we get the SQL data? No, it's showing the error. The server wasn't found because the network port is not enabled. Okay, so let's get to the business that we want web app service to access the SQL server running on this VM privately, and like we see, we cannot uh, access the SQL Server publicly. Okay, first go to uh, our VM and check the virtual network that is attached. And here is the public IP address. Okay, let's find the private IP address. For that, let's go to here. Okay, here it is. So let's note down. Okay. Um, okay. The idea is to go to this virtual network and add a subnet. Mm, So this is our IP range and this is the subnet address range. Okay, let's add it. Default 3. Uh, Virtual machine is using a default virtual network. So I'm not using it. Okay, let's go to app service and let's connect it to the same virtual network where virtual machine is connected. Select VM, and this is the new subnet we have added. Let's connect it. Give it a moment. Okay, cool. It's connecting site to virtual network. Okay, okay. So let's go to our 12-man tools. Where is the 12-man tools? Okay, yeah, advanced tools. Actually, we want to test the connection, like outbound connection from web app to virtual network. So this is the great tool, Kudo services. Okay, we want debug console. Okay, the interesting thing is if I have added another endpoint that takes URL and just get the result. Okay, so if we use that URL such that if we use the same private IP address, now web application is connected to the virtual network. Let's validate it. Okay, it's running. This is the private IP address that we cannot access it. I have another application deployed to my another Azure account. This is the same application. This is for testing purposes. If we use that same endpoint, home URL is equal to like this will give the same result using the DNS or public IP address, which is 20.42.100.153. But this application, which is deployed to another Azure account, it's not uh, able to access using private IP address. Let's test it. Okay, this is using public address. Let's use the private IP address. Okay. Okay, permission is accessible. It's forbidden. Okay, cool. You can see this is the another application in another Air tenant. Okay, it means it's working the connection. Now what uh, we want to test the SQL Server port. Okay, this is the command tcp.exe domain and the port. Let's test it. So our expected result is to get result failed because publicly we don't want SQL Server to be accessible. Okay, cool. Let's use the private IP address of virtual machine. As you can see, it's connected. Let me tell you another interesting thing. If we go to our virtual machine, VM, okay. Let's go to our network security group. As you can see, we haven't specified port for 1433, but this is the default rule that is actually being executed here that says to allow the traffic from virtual network to virtual network. That is why it was allowing without adding any other rule. Okay, let's try to get the products from SQL Server. It's not going to access because the connection string that we are using is the public DNS, and the SQL Server by default tries to open 1433 port with this public IP address, so it's not going to happen. What we want is this for let's let's see the change. Okay, great. And once we commit it, okay, edit private IP address in con string. Okay. Once we push it to our remote repo, it's going to again publish the new web application on the Azure web app by default because recently we added in our deployment center our repo. We can verify it here, like it's uh, is it deploying or what? Okay, cool. Once you add the source code to it, and by default in the in the GitHub workflows, there is a default case that whenever the code is updated or get committed, uh, ARAP service is going to deploy again. Let's give it a moment. Okay, cool. It's published successfully. Let's check it. Is it working or what? Okay, it's working. Let's try it again. Uh, okay, let's get products. Okay, it's working now. But if you see in our application, which is deployed to another ARAP service, it's not able to access it. The reason why I'm able to get this uh, from our VM, I hosted IS service here. As you can see, it's not if when you create a virtual machine, it's not by default uh, is enabled. So you have to enable it from Windows features. And this is the default site website. And you can add the default port for this. Like I have added this to allow the request for 80 port. Okay. As you can see, our scenario is completely working. Web app service is able to access the database server data, but the publicly we cannot access the database. Okay. Uh, the important part is what you should need to remember is this. The first point is first web application uh, that is hosted on web app service should be a minimum uh, basic tier. What does it mean? It, it means that the app service plan that we created as an environment, if you go to the pricing tier for this app service hosting, we are using this basic. Okay. If you are using this tier or this tier, it's not going to work because in Air App Service, virtual network integration, uh, like we added a virtual network to the Air App, is not supported for these tiers. And after that, uh, all of the tiers we can enable the virtual network integration. Another limitation is when you create app service plan uh, and the web app, make sure the location, the region, like we selected East US, the region should be the same. This is the same case for virtual network and virtual machine. So this is the important thing. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks. Bye.